So as you think about how to start an online Christian business, let's start by looking at the 4 business models and which one might be most lucrative. So by the end of this video, you'll know which of the 4 business models probably fits your skill set and experience the best, how passive income should work, and how to avoid some of those beginner mistakes that might derail the newbies. Next, we're going to look at the lie behind why passive income is tempting but not always biblical. And then we'll finish with the biggest mistake that 98% of newbies always make and some tips on how to avoid it and not be a newbie. Now you typed in how to start a Christian business, so I just can't help but say there's no such thing as a Christian business. It's an entity that is owned by the government, that is not a soul that's owned by God, okay? So you can be a Christian and run a business, but there's no such thing as a Christian business. You hear me on that? Got it. Okay, moving on. Business model number 1 is the consultant contractor model, selling your skills. This is where, let's say you're good at delivering a software product, you're good at delivering a marketing campaign or delivering a service to somebody, and people are paying for your time and your skills to deliver something to them. That is the selling yourself, your services, your skills as a business model. That's business model number 1. Now, unlike selling your skills, business model 2 is selling your time. So this might be a consultant or an advisor, someone who's going to provide their expertise or their wisdom around a topic. And so you're not actually going to be the one delivering and rolling out the execution details. You are just advising. Your wisdom is what you're getting paid for as a consultant. So that's selling your time and your wisdom like an advisor or consultant. So let's think about it like a higher level above the level of delivery. And business model 3 is selling a product. This might be something that it could be a physical product that you're trying to sell online, or it could be a digital product or service. But let's say you are going to sell it and people are going to use it. And that can be a very highly scalable business model. In fact, a lot of the investors, they invest in highly scalable software companies and software as a service and where people are productizing service-based businesses that have recurring revenue, like a software as a service or whatever kind of business. That is a product-based business model as well that you can scale online depending on how much involvement you have. It could be zero involvement where the customer does it themselves, or it could be it's kind of like almost like a done with you service where they get some helpful, product, but you're actually helping them as well with some of your time as well. That's the third model, is the product or service model. And business model number 4, this is the lucrative one, is selling your knowledge at scale. This would be like running a course or a group coaching cohort, where instead of doing a one-on-one coaching agreement with someone for $250 an hour, you are coaching 10 people at $150 an hour. So you can do the math there, $250 versus $1,500 an hour. And so you're coaching people at scale. That usually means by this point, that business model 4, you've already kind of mastered some of those other business models, like 1 and 2, and now you have enough knowledge to teach people in a cohort model and in a group framework, which means that you've distilled something down to a repeatable process that applies to lots of different people. This is the high-scale online business model that you see a lot of course creators, you see people doing group coaching programs, and so this is the 4th business model. Now you might be saying to yourself, Patrick, so which one's right for me? I would say if I was just sitting across the table with you, it really depends on what your experiences are up to this point, right? So if you've spent a lot of your time in delivery mode, you might need to start at business model number 1, delivering more of the services to yourselves, or productizing that into a product. That could be model 3. But if you started to move to the level of advising and telling other people how to lead, this could be like you might be a manager or a consultant already at work. You might be good at advising at the business model 2, the advisory level, like a consultant. And then you usually can't get to the business model 4 until you've had some reps, you have some success, and you know what it's like, and you can almost guess what all the problems are going to be and design a course and an offering that solves the problems for 95% of the people. So that is how I would help you think about which model might be a good fit today and which model do you want to get to at some point in the future. It's a good question to ask yourself. Now we're going to look at the get rich quick scheme here, and we see it in the Proverbs that we're going to look to right now. Watch with me. It says in Proverbs 10:4, it says, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. That lazy hands, what we're talking about there is there's other proverbs that talk about crafty hands and deceitful hands. And what we're talking about there is ways where you don't have the skills and experience to serve people, but you are just trying to find some fancy lever that you pull the lever and magically money's going to explode out of the backside of the lever, right? And so I would warn you, if someone's talking about passive income, there are real passive income opportunities out there. But a lot of business, a lot of revenue generation and wealth creation, it's going to be here. As you can see, it says diligent hands bring wealth. So even if you own a real estate, talk to someone who owns 5 or 10 real estate residential homes. Is it work? Do they have to be diligent to create wealth? Yeah, you can't just, set it and forget it. You have to do work to maintain the properties. You got to work with tenant turnover. And sometimes you have to hire other people to help manage those properties. So yes, you can make passive income from different strategies, but be careful about people that are saying, oh, you're just going to set this whole thing up, turn it on, and then all of a sudden all the money's going to start coming in. That's not what we're talking about when we're talking about an online Christian business. It will take work. You will have to be diligent. It will probably make you want to quit and question if you're good enough or if God is calling you to this. And that's part of the journey, is diligence in the task of building a company. So why risk starting a business at all if you're not doing it in a way that you can try to bring some kind of redemption to the world? And so in this next video that you see right here, it's how to build a redemptive kingdom business. And there's 5 simple steps for how to do it. So I'll see you over there in the other video if you want to join me.